There were photographs and footage of Meghan in Paris. What was she wearing and why was she there?
I don't think Meghan even knows why she was there. She looked like she'd been lobotomized the entire time. She's just had this sort of blank expression on her face as she was wafting in and out of corridors in Paris.
What makes this appearance particularly interesting is that fashion events are about much more than simply being seen. For someone trying to strengthen a personal brand, the real value is the audience she reaches, the people she is photographed alongside, and the associations those images create. Paris Fashion Week, therefore, gives Meghan an opportunity to position herself within a world that operates independently of the royal institution. But that also raises an important question. Does greater visibility translate into a stronger long-term brand, or is the attention itself becoming the main story?
And it was a surprise. No one really knew that she was going to show up there. She was dressed in sort of many neutral colours, which is hilarious because the entire time she was in the royal family, she was lamenting about the fact that she couldn't wear bright colours. But now that she's out, the only thing she can wear are sort of white and beige. So the whole thing was a bit of a weird farce. I mean, I know we'll get on to some of the videos that she took on her Instagram earlier, but I was confused and confronted by the whole thing because this is not the I'm going to save the world Meghan that I envisioned. This is the I'm a celebrity, I'm desperate for a photo, I want to be in the limelight, I don't need privacy.
Well, this is a point I've made in the past. When she was, in the royal family, she wanted to have a voice, she wanted to speak, she wanted to talk about the big issues and claims that she was silenced. But we haven't seen much of that. We just going to the Paris fashion show. What was the reason she went there, Bronte?
So it was in support of, this is what she said, in support of, I'm going to butcher this name and I'm so sorry. I'm going to try really hard. Pier Paolo Piccioli, I'm sorry to any Italian viewers.
That sounds good.
Oh, I try. It was an effort. Anyway, he's the creative director of Balenciaga, but he previously worked for Valentino. Now, she does wear Valentino a lot and has in the past. We haven't known anything about this friendship or association prior to her turning up at Fashion Week, but apparently they're friends. And as I say, she has worn Valentino, so perhaps that's a professional friendship that existed. Look, I'm in a couple of minds. I did find the footage a little baffling because she looked a little, I don't know, out of sorts as she turned up. It was interesting. It was also her first time attending Paris Fashion Week, which is extremely high profile and prestigious. And, there were a lot of other celebrities there, but you cannot deny, for Balenciaga at least, I think they would have been very pleased because it got a lot of attention. It got so much coverage. I would be very upset if I was a celebrity that had been invited to that event because they got zero coverage. It was all about Meghan being there.
There is a strategic reason why fashion can be particularly attractive for a celebrity looking to reshape their public image. Fashion media reaches a different audience from traditional royal coverage, one that is more interested in designers, luxury, culture, and celebrity influence. That distinction matters because Meghan's public identity has increasingly existed at the intersection of royalty and entertainment. An appearance like this can potentially move the conversation away from palace disputes and toward lifestyle and fashion. The challenge, however, is consistency. One high-profile appearance can generate headlines, but a sustainable brand usually requires a much broader pattern of work behind those headlines.
Does the Paris fashion show need attention? Does it need Meghan, or does Meghan need the Paris
That's what I mean.
fashion
I mean, I didn't see any of the collection. I feel like if I was the designer, I'd actually be quite frankly upset because none of that got coverage. It did turn into the Meghan show, as everything does.
The bigger picture here is Meghan's attempt to establish recognition on her own terms. Her title gives her an enormous level of instant visibility, but visibility and commercial influence aren't necessarily the same thing. For a personal brand to become durable, audiences need to know what the person represents beyond their name. Is it fashion? Lifestyle? Entertainment? Philanthropy? Entrepreneurship? The more clearly that identity is defined, the easier it becomes for companies and audiences to understand why they should continue paying attention. And that may be why appearances like this attract so much scrutiny. They're being judged not only as celebrity moments, but as potential pieces of a much larger career strategy.
A couple of videos you mentioned about earlier, I know there was one that she posted on her Instagram. I'm not going to get too excited about it, to be quite frank. She drove through Paris and she drove past, where Princess Diana died. I'm not going to get antagonistic about that. I don't, you know, she was just driving through and she posted a video. I can't get
I
upset.
think that's an innocent mistake. I don't think it.
I don't think so. I think it's a flagrant dismissal of Harry's trauma. I mean, if she knew anything and if she read his book, she would know just how sensitive that area of Paris is for him. I mean, there's a passage in Spare where he does talk about asking his driver to go into that tunnel at 65 miles per hour just to feel the feeling Diana felt right before the crash. And it was quite a poignant passage among some other things in that book. But he was really affected by that. And for her to put her weird feet up on the which people also have opinions about, putting feet up on the car, is really disrespectful. I mean, that's a very special area for him. And in not a good way. And I think she butchered it.
I get it. I felt it was clumsy. I just felt it was clumsy. I don't think it was deliberate, and it was a bit short-sighted rather than anything deliberate.
She should have known. She should know that stuff if she claims to love him so much and care.
Harry's absence naturally becomes part of the conversation because the Sussex brand has historically been presented as a partnership. When one half of that partnership appears prominently in a particular industry while the other isn't visible, people inevitably begin asking whether their professional priorities are moving in different directions. But absence shouldn't automatically be interpreted as conflict. Harry has his own interests, projects, and public profile, and there is no requirement that every appearance be a joint one. The more interesting question is whether audiences are beginning to perceive two separate brands rather than one Sussex brand. If that perception continues, it could have significant implications for how the couple market themselves in the future.
There was another video, again, help me out with this one, where Meghan appeared to be laughing. And do we believe she was laughing apparently at a model almost falling over? Or is it just, again, a misunderstood video?
It feels awkward. Of course, when you watch it, I go, I hope she wasn't. I don't know. I don't know her as a person. Maybe she's someone who finds that funny. No one else in the audience did. With that said, maybe someone next to her had just said something. I don't know. I find it hard to imagine that at the very least, someone that is that aware of her public presence would laugh in that instance, even if she did find it, if she finds slapstick hilarious, even then, I cannot imagine that she'd be make the mistake of laughing at that point. I do think it was maybe an accident, like someone had said something near her. Because why would you do that? Why would you put yourself up to be skewered like that?
Well, slapstick is hilarious, so I'm with her on that.
You can't let people know that.
No, that's fine. Arthur, I'm sure you saw her, is it Balenciaga? Is that how I pronounce it? I'm learning everything. Yeah. Saw her dress. Is Meghan, does she remain, a fashion icon? Is she one of the most fashionable, well-dressed royals you've seen?
Black and white, she... Both dresses I saw her in one was white. And when I saw it first time, I thought it'd be too big for her. I thought it'd give her the wrong size. But then I've been reading the fashion experts in the Times, and they say, no, that's normal. That's the way it is. That's the fashion. I looked at it closely this morning, the white dress, and it is beautifully made and looks great. But for me, Balenciaga stole the show. I mean, Meghan. She must have been looked after very well to go to that because, she was sitting with Christine Scott Thomas but no one got a look in. No one got a look in, and it was all about Meghan. And, good old Meghan, her show's going well. She's selling her jam and now she's selling wine. She's doing all right. It's Harry who doesn't seem to be doing much at the moment.
So there were two dresses, were there? There was black and white.
Black and white.
They were both custom designed or made by I'm going to not say the name again. Please don't make me. By the designer. So obviously that was part of the promotion and part of the overall appearance of her. I also found the timing of this interesting. As I mentioned earlier, this was her first time at Paris Fashion Week, and presumably she could have gone in the years previously, given her marriage into the royal family, etc. I found it interesting that it was now off the back of this image that she's really put out for most of the year of the mum in Montecito making jam barefoot. There's that sort of homemade image, and now it's sort of the high fashion Meghan. And I wonder if we've used this word a lot when it comes to Meghan. I'm wondering if is this like a new slight rebrand of now we're going to see couture, high fashion Meghan. Maybe she's trying, the front row of the fashion weeks. Who knows? Maybe this is going to be yet another chapter.
So I suppose
There is
the
also
answer
an
to the
unavoidable
question I
irony
posed
here.
earlier, that what,
Meghan
does
can step
Meghan
away
need
from
Paris
royal
Fashion Show, or does
duties,
Paris Fashion Show
but she
need
cannot
Meghan? It might be that
completely
Paris Fashion
escape
Show
the
needs someone like
fascination
Meghan.
surrounding
They
her
say
royal
that,
connection.
a
The very
royal is
title
worth
and
1.5
history that give her
celebrities to a
extraordinary
fashion
media
show.
attention
So
are
she
also
seems
what
to
keep
have
royal
proved that point
commentators
anyway. I
interested
thought
in
she
almost
was,
every move she makes.
she,
That creates a
she's-
difficult
she is, and
balancing act.
She sees
The
an
further
opportunity
she
and
develops
takes it,
an
I think.
independent
She
identity,
certainly-
the more
she
she may
certainly
want to be
cashed in on her
evaluated
fame
on her
anyway.
own
That's my
achievements.
view.
She's a headline
Yet the royal
hunter, and I
connection
think that
remains
she
one of the
needs Paris
strongest
Fashion
reasons
Week
the
at this point.
mainstream
She needs to
audience
elevate
pays
her brand
attention in the
because
first place.
it's pretty much in
So
the
the
toilet
question
like
becomes,
she looks like a loo
can
roll
Meghan
herself,
eventually build
and her
a brand
is also
powerful
there.
enough that the royal
Genuinely,
connection
I
becomes
really
secondary
thought that
rather
this was
than
very
central
cheap
to the
and tawdry of her
conversation?
to go and
Is the answer to the question I posed earlier, that what, does Meghan need Paris Fashion Show, or does Paris Fashion Show need Meghan? It might be that Paris Fashion Show needs someone like Meghan.
Well, they say that a royal is worth 1.5 celebrities to a fashion show. So she seems to have proved that point anyway. I thought she was, she's who she is, and she sees an opportunity and she takes it. I think she certainly cashed in on her fame anyway. That's my view.
She's a headline hunter, and I think that she needs Paris Fashion Week at this point. She needs to elevate her brand because it's pretty much in the toilet like she looked like a loo roll herself, and her brand is also there. Genuinely, I really thought that this was very cheap and tawdry of her to go and do. And the timing is interesting because William was getting a lot of good press, and then she just crops up at Paris Fashion Week. I mean, I'm not saying those two are connected, but I'm not sure.
Ultimately, Paris Fashion Week may tell us less about one particular appearance and more about where Meghan's public identity is heading. Is this the beginning of a carefully constructed new chapter, or will the fascination surrounding her royal past continue to overshadow everything she tries to build independently? And Harry's absence adds another layer to that question. If Meghan increasingly develops her own professional identity while Harry follows a separate path, are we eventually going to see two distinctly different Sussex brands rather than one shared operation? That's the part I'm watching most closely. What do you think? Was this a smart branding move for Meghan, or does Harry's absence reveal something bigger about the Sussexes' future? Let me know in the comments. And if you want more analysis of the latest royal developments, make sure you're subscribed.